So in this, how to set up the site-to-site VPN in Cisco ASA firewall device using Adaptive Security Device Manager, and for the virtualization I'm using the GNS3. And the prerequisites, the system with Windows operating system with installation of Java, because the reason you can say if you want to access the Adaptive Security Device Manager through a browser, we need to go for the Java. And next one, we need to have the GNS3 with ASA firewall setup. So in my system, already have the GNS3. So I'll go for the name site-to-site VPN. So already have the GNS3 is there. And you can see what the version I'm using the GNS3. So GNS3 1.2 I'm using. So in this already I have to set up the ASA firewall device also. And the next step, what the prerequisites. So VMware workstation required. So we require the VMware workstation. Already in my system, I installed the VMware workstation software also. So now in this, I created a two virtual machines, Windows 2008 R2, one for the site 1, one for the site 2. There are two virtual machines are there. So already installed it. And next requirement, already you can see VMware workstation is there, and two virtual machines with Windows OS. One for the site 1, one more for the site 2. So the next one, how we can able to prepare the GNS3 topology for this. So open the GNS3. So I have the firewall devices are there. I'll go for the ASA firewall device 1. I'll go for one more thing, because this is for the site 1, this is for the site 2. So the first thing, you want to access this ASA firewall devices using Adaptive Security Device Manager. What you need to do? The first thing, I'll go for the cloud here and right click on the cloud, and you need to connect to the cloud. So here you got, I created a separate network adapter for the management network, VMware network adapter VMnet2. See, by default, what is going to happen is, whenever you can install the VMware workstation software, we got two network cards will be available by default. So one is called as a VMnet8 and VMnet1. There are two network cards are available, and you can see this is a two network cards is by default is available. One for the VMnet1 and one more for the VMnet8. There are two network cards automatically created. And now I created a separate network card for the management network VMnet2. So I'll show like how to create this separate network cards in the VMware workstation. So you need to open the VMware workstation software. Just click on the edit and go for the virtual network editor. And by default, you can see the VMnet8 and VMnet1 by default is available. So I created a separate network card called as a VMnet2. It has IP address is a 192.168.254.0. So go for change settings. So how I created a VMnet2, I'm going to explain now. Add network. Just go for like a VMnet3. Say OK. So now we got like one more network called as a VMnet3 is available. automatically is going to generate the IP address. So apply and OK. But right now I'm not using the VMnet 3. I'm using the only VMnet 2 for my management network. I'll open the GNS3. I'll go to the cloud and go to configure the cloud one. You can select like a VMnet 2. Why I'm not getting the VMnet 3 means after adding the additional networks in the VMware workstation, you need to reboot your system. So apply. Okay. So go for the some two switches here. And the switch point I'm going to connect to the cloud for the VMnet 2. Again, cloud to one more switch. Or you can do one more way, remove the switches. And directly we can connect from the ASA firewall device to the cloud. So let us say example, I'm using the Ethernet GUI, Ethernet 2. Ethernet 2 means G2 actually. So right here, better way, directly you can connect from switch 1 to which port I connected, E0. Delete it. I'll connect to the E2 for the management network. Then from the switch to cloud. And here you can say VMnet 2 is there. And for the VMnet 2, what IP address is there, we can check it out here. For the VMnet 2, 192.162.54.1 is there. Now what we'll do means for the E2 in the ASA firewall device 1 and ASA firewall device 2. So I'm going to set up the IP address 192.168.254.3 for ASA firewall device 1 and 192.168.254.4 this device. And next one between the site 1 to site 2. And you can estimate this is site 1 and this is site 2. So between the two sites, for the lab purpose, just what I'm doing is just I'm connecting a cable between the two ASA firewall devices. I'm using as a Ethernet 1 and Ethernet 1. So I'm going to give the IP addresses for this Ethernet ones. It's a 100.100.1 byte, and for the other one 100.100.100.2. And the next one, I want to set up my inside systems. In the site one, we got some servers are there. In site two, we got some servers are there, and they want to communicate each other through VPN using the encryption technology. So here I'm going to connect like a one more Ethernet switch. So now next step, I'm going to connect the host 1 and host 2. The site 1 E0, I'm going to connect to the switch, and the switch 2 to the host, to which port means for the VMnet 1. So here I'm going to use like a VMnet 1, and here I'm going to use like a VMnet 2, sorry, VMnet 8. So this is our topology right now. And for this, I'm going to send IP addresses 192.168. Some 10 series. And here for E0, 192.168.5.1 and 10.1. So now we want to set up all these things. This is a topology we need to create first of all. So the first thing, I'm going to power on the ASA firewall device 1. So the ASA firewall device 1 is ready. I'm going to set up all the IP addresses. So config, and the password you can set a blank password, just press enter. So the first thing, I'm going to configure the host name. So the host name you can set the site 1. The next step, I need to configure this for the management point of view. I need to configure the IP address for this interface. In ASA firewall device, show interface IP brief. In the routers, we need to go for the show IP interface brief, but the command here you can say show interface IP brief. So we got the multiple interfaces. So here is displaying as a E0, E1, E2, but actually the interfaces is called as a G0, G1, G2, G3 like this way. So now which interface for the management purpose? E2. That means G2. So interface will go for G2 and IP address 192.168.254.3 and 255.255.255.0, and next one no shutdown, but you need to provide the interfaces for the names also. So name IF, this is the interface name, you can say management. Simply shortcut way, I'm going to provide as a MGMT. So now we'll go for ping to 192.168.254.1. So you got success. So the next step, what we need to do means we need to set up the ASDM access. So for this we require some other things also. So for this now we require the one more thing is called a TFTP server. TFTP server, and as well as we require ASDM file also. So in my system already installed the TFTP server, and here already have the ASDM bin file is there. ASDM 711.bin. This file is also available. So now the TFTP server is on. So what you can do is you'll go for the site one, Control C, copy from TFTP server to flash. So they're going to ask about the which is the TFTP server. So already we got in the communication with the 192.168.254.1, and that IP address is the TFTP server IP address. And it asks in the source file name. The source file name ASDM-711.bin hyphen 711.bin file, and press enter. So it will take some time. In the meanwhile, what I will do is I will set up the ASA firewall 2 also, because for booting it takes a lot of time. Okay. The site 1 is ready with the ASDM configuration file. And if you go for the command, you can say show flash. Sorry. So we got the file name, you can say ASDM 71.bin file is uploaded to the ASA firewall device from TFTP server to ASA firewall device. The next step, what you need to do means if you want to access this ASA firewall device through browser, so you need to go for config. You need to enable the HTTP server. So HTTP server enable. The next one, you need to give the access to the your network HTTP and 192.168.254.0. This is our management network, and 255.255.255.0. And next one, you need to provide the interface name also. The interface name you can say MGMT. The next step, you need to create the username and password. The username and password, and you need to provide the privilege levels. You can say 15. 15 means a complete full control. Then open the browser Mozilla Firefox. So you need to better thing have the Mozilla Firefox, and already the version you can say here I installed the version, you can say Firefox EXR and 52.3.0 32-bit. Then what you can type it means HTTPS, then double slash 192.168.254.0 3. So like this we got. Just go for advanced, add, confirm, activate the Java, allow and remind me. So run the ASDM, say continue. So what is going to happen here? You can check it out. Verify the application, but the Java is going to flag this application. For this, what you need to do is configure Java. See, the application flagged by Java security. So configure Java. In the security tab, so just go for edit list and you can add the IP addresses of the ASDM device IP addresses. So HTTPS 192.168.254.3 one IP address. And for one more thing for ASA firewall device 2 for site 2 192.168.254.4 says okay. So again you can run the ASDM one more time. Now I'll set up the ASA device 2 also. It takes some time. Okay. So don't ask and run and username and the password. And you can see here you get like the host names and device update. The host name is site 1 and ASA version is 8.4.2 and ASDM version 7.1 is not necessary. Now same process way we need to set up the one more ASA firewall device. So I'm going to enable this device. Config. Only for the first time, only for to access the ASDM, I'm using the everything in the command line. And from next line onwards, we'll go for the ASDM mode from GUI mode. So I'll go for the host name. You can say the site 2 and interface according to our topology, the G2 for G2 interface and IP address is a 192.168.254.4 and 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. And you need to provide a management interface name IF MGMT management. And next step we need to enable the HTTP server. The first thing I'm going to ping to the my TFTP server. So 192.168.254.1 got success. The next step what you can do is HTTP server enable. Then HTTP you need to provide access for this network. So 192.168.254.0 and 255.255.255.0 and to which interface for the management network. The next one you need to create a username and password. So create the same username and same password for both ISA devices. And the privileges levels you need to provide as a 15. So the next step what you can do is you need to copy this ASDM configuration file, bin file from TFTP server to your ASA firewall device to the flash. So copy from TFTP server to flash, and address you can see the 192.168.254.1, and as file name you can say ASDM-711.bin. So the file is copied. The next step what you can do means you go for this IP address, or the IP address of this one, site 2, show interface IP brief 192.168.254.4. So just again open the browser, https://192.168.254.4. So go for advanced, add, confirm this one, activate the Java and allow and remember me. So already account with the security policies for the Java. So the username and password. So the host name become as site 2 and remove the site 2, and this is for the site 1. You can see there are the two ASDM consoles are available, and the site 1 and site 2. So the first step we set up the ASDM setup for the both ASA firewall devices, and what the next step we need to do. So we need to configure the IP addresses for this. So this is the interface I'm going to configure as the outside interface. These interfaces in both ASA firewall devices are configured as outside devices. So now we want to configure the IP address settings. No need to go for the command line. Directly we'll go for the GUI mode from ASDM. And the main advantage of the ASDM, just to go for the configuration and interfaces, and for each interface. So G1, E1 is there here, but actually the interface name is the G1. So what I will do means I'll go for an ASA firewall device 1 for the G1, edit. I'll configure the interface name is called as outside interface, enable, and I'll give the IP address as 100.100.100.1. Maybe right now I didn't provide any subnetting. I'm using the default subnetting only. Set it OK and apply. So in the command line, this is a command actually. So go for send. So the next step I'll go for ASD device 2, configure and interfaces for the G1, edit, and interface name is called as outside interface only, enable, and I'll go for the IP address 100.100.100.2. Say OK, apply. This is a command. You want to go for the command line, this is the command line. So right now I'm in the site 2, I'll go for the tools, I'll go for ping, and I'll try to ping to the site 1 IP address. So you got success. So the next step. So you need to configure the inside interfaces. Depend for E0, we need to configure this is IP addresses. I'll go for the site 1 first of all. For G0, so inside enable the interface. So 192.168.5.1 and subnet mask, default subnet mask. So when I say apply, this is the command line. Now I'll go for the site 2 for G0. I'll configure the inside 192.168.10.1. So the next step, I'll go for the both the systems. This is site 1 system, the site 2 system. And for the site 1 system, the network adapters by default whenever you can create a VM using the NAT mode. So I changed it from the NAT mode to VMnet 1 because according to topology, this is the site 1 is connected to the VMnet 1 and the site 2 is connected to the VMnet 8. And for the site 2 system, I'm gone to the network adapter as a NAT mode. NAT means nothing but a VMnet 8. So I'm going to power on the both the systems. This is a site 1 system and the site 2 system. Will power on the both the things. So now between the site 1 systems and site 2 system, they won't communicate each other because this is a different network, this is a different network, and this is a different network. So they want to communicate this through VPN channel. Means the first thing I want to make the routing between these two. How to make the routing actually here? So we'll go for the command line also. We'll go for the GUI mode also. So root outside. For default routing, just go for 00. And next one, which is the next home? 100.100.100.2. The gateway IP address. And now in the same process, you need to configure in the site 2 also. See, suppose if you go for the site 2, in the graphical mode, how we can do it? The routing, static routes, add, network. We go for any network means nothing but a 00 and a gateway IP address. From site 2 to site 1 means it's the gateway 100.100.0.2 is the gateway. So just go for OK. You can see here. Route outside 000 and gateway IP address and apply. So this is the command. Because we applied from the command line is going to impact for the graphical mode also, and you can see in the routing this table is added. So let me check my system status. So still there in the power on condition. So my systems are up now. So this is a site 1 system. So I'll go for config IP address. So ncpa.cpl. So I have the local area connection and go to the properties. So the site 1 system, I need to provide the IP address 192.168.5.60 are given and 5.1 is a gateway The gateway nothing but your ASA firewall device IP address is a gateway. Maybe better one, you can go for disable the network card once and I can enable it. So I'll go for the site 2 system. For the site 2 system, I'll give the IP address maybe 192.168.10.200 are given and 10.1 are given as a gateway, and which is the site 2, the site 2 IP address. I'll go for disable and enable the network card once. So my requirement, you can say, between the site to site systems, they want to communicate data through a firewall device and by using the VPN. At the config, this is a site 1 system is a 5.60 and site 2 system is a 192.168.10.200. So anyhow, right now they won't communicate, but my requirement, you can say, they want to communicate these two systems through a secure channel through VPN. Between the site 1 system to site 2 system, they need to communicate through a tunnel, through VPN tunnel. They need to communicate each other. So I want to create a VPN tunnel now. So I think maybe you have the idea about what are the VPN protocols and VPN policies. So otherwise I'm going to prepare the one more video. I'm going to explain the theory part. So how to set up this site to site VPN now. So right now I'm in the site 1. Just I'm going for the wizards. The VPN wizards, there's the option indicates the site to site VPN. So go for next. So the peer IP address. What the peer IP address here? So I'm in the site 1 and I want to communicate to the site 2 means this is a peer IP address. Site 2 IP address is a peer IP address. Site 2 IP. So the peer IP address, the 100.100.100.2, the peer IP address, and which is the VPN access interface means the outside interface. And IKE policies, so Internet Key Exchange Mechanism protocols. I'm going to use like both the things IKE1 and IKE2 next, and a local network and a remote network. So the local network. So your inside network is called as your local network 192.168.5.0, and remote network means what is remote network? The series you can say 192.168.5.10 series is a remote network. So you're going to try to communicate between the site 1 LAN network 2 and the site 2 network. This is a remote network for the site 1. So by default, we don't have the objects is available. We need to create object for this. So I'll go for ASA device 1. For the remote network, I'll go for add network object. So here I'll go for site 2 LAN. So the site 2 LAN, I'll go for create a network. So the network series is 192.168.10.0 and the subnet mask. Okay. Now select the site 2 LAN and click on OK and go to next. And the pre-shared key, because For the security key, just I'm providing the Cisco, and here also local pre-shared key. Just you can type Cisco and go to next. So the for the IKE policies and the pre-shared key and encapsulation protocols, IPsec proposals and protocols, DES mechanism and SHA algorithms, MD5. Just go for next. So enable these policies. So diffuse algorithm group and exempt the ACS side host for inside. Go to finish, and these are basically command line. And go for, see this many commands you want to type in command line, it may be taking a lot of time and maybe going to confuse. Go for next. So now we got like a site to site VPN created between the site 1 to site 2, but whereas we need to create the same thing for the between the site 2 to site 1 also. So site to site VPN with that, and the peer IP address is a 100.100.100.1 outside, the same thing, and a local network, the inside network. And for the remote network, you need to create a remote network object. So site 1 network and the network. So 192.168.5.0 and the subnet mask, and go for next. And the pre-shared key in the site 1 I have given this is for the same password. The pre-shared key we need to provide in the site 2 also, and go to next, and the same protocols and algorithms and finish. Now I'll go for the site 1 and site 2. So it maybe take some time. Okay, now we got reply. And you can check this one. And when you go for the monitoring, if you go for the VPN, you can see this many packets. You can see here the bytes are sending and receive this many things. So site to site VPN add to this one, and this many packets are encrypted. So encryption. So this many packets are encrypted. That means now, so between the site 1 network to site 2 network, so they are going to communicate through a secure channel, through a tunnel, through a VPN tunnel. So they're going to communicate each other. So you can able to access any data also, everything we can do it. And even if you go for the command line, so crypto and ISAKMP policies. So which is the local and which is the remote tunnels. So with the this tunnel is created. So in packets, or you can go for this one. You can go for monitoring mode. The monitoring mode, what the things are going to happening, how many packets are using, and what are the for the encryption they're using. So like this is the way what you can do. We can able to configure a site-to-site VPN between the a firewall devices. So this may be one site located in different location and this in different location. Now they are going to communicate the data between the one site to other site through a secure channel.